Hey folks, getting some artwork done here before my day begins. Give me a second here to fire up my signal just right quick. Pressing buttons. Making sure the sound is sounded. Cool. Now, okay, that works. And I'm just going to drop it into Twitter, and then we're going to get some work done. We got about an hour. Got some coffee kicking in the blood. All right, let's make this thing happen. Okay, cool. So let's see. I got dots, more dots, more dots. Right now I'm just trying to get organized a touch. Okay, there's that thing. What am I even selecting here? What is happening? Alright. Beep, 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 and a beep, 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 and a beep, beep, and a burp, 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 beep, 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 beep. Beep, beep, and give it a beep, beep, beep. Beep, 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 beep. All right. Beep, 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 beep. Beep. Okay, cool. So we're making maps, yo. Let's make some maps. Let's go. Give me a hot second here while I go find myself some. Let's go with stone ruins. I ask Google. Image. We'll have an image over here, and then we want to go burp, 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 burp. Let's go with putrid swamp as a search. And now we seek images. Ooh. Very nice. That's the stuff. Wow, I didn't think I'd find something so easily referenceable. Okay, cool. So now that I've got my images imported, make a tab here and call it reference. Let's zoom in on this stuff. See what we can see. Okay, here's a base color format I'm going to use for the stone in general, and you can see I'm using my color picking tool. This is for colorblind people. If you don't know, if you don't see color and you got to figure it out anyway because you absolutely have to be a painter, then what you can do is you can see here that I'm doing image select, and you can see how the image select pops up over here. You can see these differences. This is where you're gonna find. This is where your color information is gonna come from. You can see that, like that's moss that's growing on this. Here's your ground. This is gonna be here's old dried dead leaves, and you can see that you get the stone, which has it's got this gray neutral to it. This has got a bunch of like dead leaves and stuff on it, so you can see it has a very mild green tone to it. You come up here to a stone, you can see again it's gray, so that's where you're getting a lot of your color information from. If we look at the putrid swamp picture that I fetched using our color picking tool again, you can see there's an interesting blueness to it. There's some green. Almost a purple going on there. Here's some dark waters that also has like this almost like that registers as fleshiness to me, or like a biomatter. That's not very far off from different skin iterations that you see. But again, you can see the green spark there. Yeah. Okay. So what I will do is you find a color that is being repeatedly present in the images that we're looking at, and here we're seeing like a bluish, maybe this is like granite. So, and then we got mossy green going on there. So I'm going to go with that as my base color. So then we'll pan out. Woof, this guy is just chugging on the memory. Let's see what I can do to help resolve some of that. I'm going to merge that group. That should help. Should help free it up. Alright, I'm just going to leave that there. I'm probably gonna have to go into my preferences and like vastly increase the amount of RAM that I'm using on this. We've got 16K RAM. But it still chugs a little bit now and again. I mean, this is after all, how big is this map? Canvas size equals 60 inches at a 300 DPI. Like 18,000 pixels with like 10 layers on it. Well, let's see. Yeah, see, I got a lot of dead information in here that I just don't need anymore. So I'm going to file, save as equals. We're going to go to 427. And we're going to kill this information here. Save it again. That should help. That should help speed up processing, at least a touch. Okay, so let's see. What are we looking at here? Overall, this is the Ruined Fort. You got a bog sort of effect going through here. There's an encampment down here. We're looking at swampy ground. Partially flooded from rain, ruin, pit, and debris being cleared from the pit. So, and then again, an encampment that's set up. So, that's the general information about the terrain. So, using that, we can then zoom in again here. Grab some of this like that. And I'm going to find another reference. Yeah, roughly like that. Come on, turkey. Oh man, the lag on this thing is brutal. It's because I'm streaming an 18,000 pixel document. If I wasn't streaming, it'd be much more efficient. But this is the job. So this is we're making our computer work today. About time, huh? So I'm going to just drop in color information into this water environment here in general. And we'll zoom in and we'll push some pixels around just to fill up the space a bit. This is one of the optional locations that characters can interact with. The way the adventure is designed is it's a toolkit. It can be like speed run through a 4-hour one-shot from beginning to end by streamlining and cutting out a lot of the optional elements, and just cutting to the quick. But it's more fun if you... Wow, that is just choking. It's a lot more fun if you let it expand out and have a number of sessions to play with it, because there's just a lot of different stuff you can get into. Like this fortress is unnecessary, but it leads to an underground location where the final act of the adventure is resolved. So if you go here, there's about 3 encounters that you have the opportunity to engage with. There's exploration, while you poke around the place and find hidden paths. There are Karrnathi soldiers stationed here that you have the opportunity to either battle or have social engagement with to find out more about what they got going on. And then there's also undead that are in the bog and in the underground region that the Karrnathi are currently trying to keep tabs on. That if you remove the Karrnathi, then you could basically you inherit the problem if you don't resolve it. If you don't keep the undead contained, then basically they spill out into the landscape and start causing havoc for everyone else. So those are 3 encounters. You could spend an entire session on this map without any problem. Like if you have 4-hour sessions, you could easily spend all 4 of them on this. But it's not even necessary for you to complete the adventure. It's just a location that we built in the process of how would you logically have characters navigate this space involving these undead. So you get a lot of when you think like how to put it. Adventures that you purchase normally offer one path, and but if you go through a deep logic analysis of like what is happening in the story, what are the different variables that go along with it, then you start seeing, well, if we had a map for this area, then you could encourage your characters to pursue that line of reasoning, as opposed to that your current plan doesn't fit the content that we're limiting production value with. So here are ways to prevent your characters to go off the rails there, or here's some surface suggestions to help you get back on path if you can't prevent them from going down that line of reasoning to pursue that action. So instead of that, what we're trying to do is it's a self-contained environment, and then fleshing out all the areas that they could potentially go into and want to invest or waste time inside of. And players being players, they are 100% going to waste their time on little fiddly bit details. So we're working here to separate information into, you absolutely need to have this on deck for your characters to contend with. And I'm going to, yeah, that's good. And then it breaks out into, here's more options, here's more options, here's further ideas to take those additional options further. So you can run this anywhere from a 4-hour speed run one shot up to potentially spending 7 or 8 sessions here. So we're pretty proud of that, and it's a pretty big build. It's probably going to end up being around 100 pages when it's done, and that's pretty thick for a single 8th level adventure. But again, the one shot is just one aspect of it. You really want to be able to blow it out. But and we're going to set up. It's currently being structured so that if you read it from the front end to the back end, you're getting the full story of of what's happening, but then you can like tag what you want to keep for the adventure and what you want to throw away. It's got 6 different plot hooks, and in each of the different acts that you're going through, it allows you to expand or contract how much time is spent inside of that act, and provides tips on how to like expedite your way to get out of that act more efficiently, so you can move into the area that you want to focus. Like if you know you only want to spend 2 sessions on this adventure, then you're going to look at it from the perspective of a speed run, like speedrun plus, like a swift trot through the adventure, so that you'll know what the highlights are that you need to hit, how you can path to those highlights more swiftly. But then if you're going to have a full extra session, that basically means you have like 3 or 4 extra encounters that you can spend time on. And then you'll be able to see, well, I want to have more time in the forest. I want to have more time at this fort. I want to have more time in the top layer of the dungeon. So you can pick and choose where you're going to invest additional time. And since those are all optional, if it starts to unspool on you, then you can pretty much just cut it short at any point by just nixing out all the additional content that would have come through. So pretty proud of the structuring on that. This is the first one that I've built this way. This is how I think about adventures, like in my own home campaign. Like the logic pathing that is being presented in this book is basically how I plan adventures in my own campaigns at home. But in my own adventures campaign at home, it all looks like garbage. Like, I don't invest any time on high production maps or anything like that, even though I'm obviously capable of producing them. Because if I have a prepared map and they catch me off guard and force me to go someplace I have to improvise, then they'll immediately know I'm off script if I go from a gorgeous, lush, painted map to stick figures. It's better to be as garbage or theater of the mind as possible to be able to manipulate the emotional space that the players are inside of with you. More than anything else, the DM is a narrator of a story that the characters are breaking. So you want to stay in control and ahead of the decisions that they're making, which is impossible. So once they catch up with your, I call it buffering. Once they've exceeded your buffer, you're going to be improvising until you can have a chance to buffer. So that's why that's why DMs, like really good DMs, suggest often just random encounters is such a good thing, because random encounters builds in buffer time because they're having to make decisions. That's like why I don't like how much time my team wastes on making decisions in combat. If you're listening to every moment of that decision making process, you're not allowing yourself buffer time. If you want to intentionally set up red herring decisions specifically so they argue with each other about what they should do next, so that you have time to buffer your campaign so you can get ahead of them. So it's so one of the really great uses for random encounters that you have already ideas about ahead of time but don't have any real impact on you. It's like in this case, you're talking undead. If you need to really buff out, like what's going to happen when they get to the next section of this forest and you haven't really settled it yet, you can slow them down by hitting them with a couple skeletons or zombies wandering through the forest that they need to kill. So it helps if you have just a little bit of flavor about it, like, oh my god, that looks like a villager. Now we know where all the villagers went. They are dead. They didn't just run away, but they're apparently being killed by undead. That's just an extra layer of confirmation that they may not have had previously till now, if their mission was to go find villagers. So while they're fighting those undead or trying to find a way to resolve them otherwise, then that's giving you micro moments for you to start buffering your campaign. Like every minute that the team spends on arguing with each other over what spell is the best to use or what positioning should they choose, that is a moment that you have to throw some dice like a magic 8-ball to ask some yes or no questions to help you figure out like where you want them to go after this fight. So anyway, that's a little rambly and kind of open-ended, but I'm pushing pixels, so that's the kind of crap I think about when I'm pushing pixels, especially if it's my own campaign. Like I'm always thinking about, you know, what's the next step, what's going to be the fallout from this, what is the how many consequences am I able to cycle through and see how many of those fall in the same bucket, because you generally have stuff disconnected, reconnecting. How are we doing here, Obi? Reconnection successful. Wow, OBS is just having chug issues. I was having chug issues last night when I was doing Ranger Conclave design, and I'm having OBS issues this morning too. So I'm wondering what's going on with its stability. Where are we at? We're at 7:30, so we're doing pretty good. Ugh, the chug is horrible. What I might need to do is save as 127 Fort. Top level. Okay, I saved it as top level, and now I'm going to be a cheeky monkey and grab my references and bring them down here. And then I am just going to that is trim that down a little bit, see if I get some more speed out of this, because I can always just duplicate these layers and just drop them into the other document later on. Dots. You should have better performance. I'm gonna hit save. Then I'm gonna kill the dock. And I'm gonna open it back up again. Let it refresh its cycle. Here we go. Yeah, much better performance now. And then I'll just drop this all into a folder. I'll cut and then I'll paste the folder back into the main map, which I can then have as a single layer. So it'll process out a lot better. Yes, this is much better performance. Thank you. I like that chirble of that. I kind of like that. How jubbly this water is, because that's a fun effect. I like this song. GQ by Blue Steel. Blue Steel's pretty good stuff. Check, check. Cool. We're doing good here. This is the job. We do the job. The job gets done. This graphic effect that's happening here, that's happening because I'm losing graphics information because of the high resolution. It actually is working to my advantage because it creates this bubbly effect. I didn't actually expect that to happen. It's kind of a happy accident that I'm able to exploit. That only really shows up on my stream because normally I have a smooth enough CPU process that it doesn't skip pixels, but in this instance it's actually working out really nicely. What I can do when I have normal production speed is I can go in and I can create I can use I can toggle spacing on the brush to cause it to skip like that intentionally. But this is a really happy accident. I'm happy I found that. Oh, that's really fun. What a fun effect. Nice. Okay, cool. So there is that. Now we're going to use this. start blending that in haphazardly, as haphazardly as I can. Just gonna trust my reflexes that it's gonna do the right thing and make it look the way it's supposed to. But so far, I'm really pleased. I'm going to drop the grid map for now. Clang. So far, so good. All right, now we're going to whoopsie. There it is. All right, now we do this. Save. Now we add here. Let's do that again. This time with feeling. Since I can't tell the difference between colors, I have to add this in as a separate layer so I can tell by the value, the gray tone of it against the white background. Otherwise, I would not be able to see this color manipulating, being layered over the other color work that we've done. So this is another one of those pro tips for colorblind painters that really just don't know what they're doing. My pixel's behaving now. Where were you at earlier, buddy? ain't so good now. Anyway, whatever, dude. Our goal here is to create a sheen of this green. Yuck. But then we're gonna poke holes in it, so you'll see. You'll see how that works out here in a minute. It should be pretty cool. Hopefully it'll be pretty cool. Almost done. There's no reason to be perfect here. There. Now, when I drop this underneath there, I can grab a foliage brush. Duplicate this layer. And you can just erase some of it. We're using a 50% opacity, so when I erase it, it's not fully erased, but if I double tap the same area, it takes about 5 or 6 taps for it to completely disappear. The Wacom brush that I use allows me to rotate this this brush shape easily, so that I can get these different angles and play with it. To make the texturing a lot more dynamic. $7.45. I'm getting close to done. Ooh, shiny. I want that. Gonna make that a little bit more transparent. I'm gonna make a new layer. I'm going to zoom in here. Yes. Coffee time. All right, I'm gonna finish off smudging this in. We're at 7:52. All right, it's almost time for me to give my pound of flesh to the man for the day. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Anyone who's colorblind that wants to be a painter someday, or even today, drop them this link. Have them swing by. We talk about color theory here when we do painting. You can check in the playlist below and check out the different books that I've built. Follow me on Twitter so you can see what I got going on and what I'm going to stream. It's pretty spontaneous. But it's typically in the evening before bed here in PST, and in the morning here as well. In the morning I do maps and painting. In the evenings I do class monster item design, basically homebrew design work that eventually gets a coat of professional paint that then gets dropped onto the DMsGuild for people to chew on. Check out the links in the description below. You can see what I got going on. And if you dig it, I would really appreciate you buy something, because it helps pay for the time that I invest. Give me one more moment here, and then we'll sign off for the day. All right, that's a start. Water muck. Line, which will lock. Can't help myself. I want to push this out around a little bit. So I get to start off with this stone base, and then I get the moss over it. With green and blackish nature texturing, which would be fun. Very, very fun to do. These little flagstone type things going, so that's something I want to pay attention to, but it's something that I don't want to be overly committed to. So here in the more structure-y ruins, I'm going with this more granite effect, but you'll see, like out here, there are no flagstones anymore, but you start seeing some flagstones over here where there's ruins. can see some flagstone information here, so like it spills over into this area too. And then, of course, in the actual structure itself, it gets a lot more thorough. So that's how we're going to go. I'm going to go ahead and cut stream here now. Yeah, it's definitely time for me to go. So great. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm just going to be doing a lot of this. I will be back later on this evening. And if you tune in, if you're seeing this after today, then when you tune in down below, you can click into my list of stuff, and you'll see spell point sorcerers. That's what I'm going to be working on later on tonight. So I will see you guys then and there, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for being here.